whenever guys like write to me and ask me how to get into writing, it's like, well, you know, befriend a guy for years who dies, and then you get, you know what I mean? Like, I can't tell you how to. Yeah. There's no logic to. So he died, and then they put me on staff, and I was fucking miserable. Like, first of all, because it was the first roast that I did without Greg. So
which one was that?
The stupid Trump roast. It was my least favorite roast that they've ever done. I hated that one, and I hated the experience, and I hated Trump. He was a real piece of shit, and it was such a bummer to go from like writing for Greg, who was like, you know, hands down like the best dude who does those roasts, and to then like having these gems that then to watch Larry King just fuck him up, you know, like it was just, or turn him down because he didn't get the joke, you know. Yeah. I get paired with Larry King and fucking Donald Trump, and they don't understand jokes, and so they just would pass up all these great, and it would annoy me. So I just started tweeting them because like there was nowhere else for them to go, you know. And ugh. God, I've had comedy interactions with him, and he is such a fucking douchebag. I wrote for Joan Rivers for this thing called, what the hell was it called? How'd You Get So Rich? It was a cable show. You probably don't.
No, I don't know it.
Because we had to go interview Trump. That's the whole thing. And boy, was he a fucking idiot. They wanted to do a man on the street segment where he gave financial advice to people. So anyway, they had me. They're like, why don't you ask Trump like a financial question? And they're just like, you know, like make it cute and funny, like not obviously funny, but just like some size. So and
you were supposed to be
just
a regular
a guy on the
person.
street, right?
Okay.
So like I go up to Joan has the mic, and she's like, and she pulls me aside and like, would you got anything that you want advice you want from Donald Trump? And at the time, I was about to get married for the first, and so I said, and it ended up being prophetic, but it wasn't. I go, hey, Mr. Trump, I'm about to marry my first wife. Do you have any advice, right? Because, you know, he's been married a bunch. And he's just like a humorless fucking robot dipshit, and he was just like, why would you call it your first wife if you haven't been? And it's like, I know, dummy. You know what I mean? Like, he just, and then the experience of writing for him on the roast was the worst, because he would send the script back. Like, we'd send him a script that we were working on, and he would send it back like all blacked out, like redacted, like a real estate contract or some CIA dossier, you know? And it's like, nobody asked you to do that, dummy. You know, like, we just wanted to see if you could say these things. But he literally would cross out like every punchline. Like, he'd leave the setup.
Well, he knows comedy.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's what he would do. And his only contribution was, for example, there was a joke where it was like, what's the difference between... basically, it's him owning his own hair thing. And it was, I've heard all the jokes. What's the difference between Donald Trump's head and a wet raccoon? A wet raccoon doesn't have $3 billion or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And he would cross out 3 and put 7, you know? So it's like, oh, yeah, that's what you just added a syllable, dummy, you know? And then the classic one, my favorite, is there was some joke about him living in a space station. Like, he doesn't even live on Earth. Like, he's caused all these problems like bed bugs and, you know, smallpox and whatever. And he actually doesn't even live on he just like looks down on the shit he's ruined. And from his 25,000 square foot penthouse space station, like marble, whatever. And he crossed out 25 and put 50. You see what I'm saying? Like, he needed people to know that his fictitious space station was bigger. You know, like, that's what a fucking asshole.
His fictitious bank account.
In the world of jokes, all you did is add a syllable, you know? Yeah. It didn't contribute anything to the comedy, so...